Let's spawn some beautiful flowers in the world. Let's see flower generation. Alright, we found ourselves back in IntelliJ once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be adding flower generation to the game. So we're going to generate our bluebells in the world, and it's actually going to be fairly straightforward. I not only highly recommend the last tutorial, I actually think that it's sort of a prerequisite for the coming world gen tutorials, because there's a lot of basics that we've covered in the last tutorial, so I highly recommend taking a look at that as well. And now, so to add a new configured feature, because of course we need to add a new configured feature here, first of all we need to add a new registry key. So I'm just going to duplicate this by pressing Ctrl D, and then we're going to say bluebells key, and this has the name bluebells. There you go, easy enough. Right, and now let's actually create the configured feature. So we're going to say public static final and then configured feature question mark once again. And this is the bluebells underscore config. And this is equal to the register method. And then we're going to say feature dot flower dot configure. And then we're going to do craziness once again. So we need a new random patch feature config dot builder. And inside of here, we're going to make a new simple block state provider where we could also, of course, once again, use a weighted block state provider or some other block state provider, and then also put in multiple different, blocks in theory. So that would also work. We also need a simple block placer instance, and then closing the parentheses here tries. We're going to do 64, and then we're going to say dot build, and then closing the parentheses again. So those down here we actually don't need. And then we're going to call the dot decorate with the decorator dot, we're going to say spread 32 above dot configure with the nope decorator configure instance, and then one parentheses afterwards we're going to call the dot decorate again, and this time with the decorator dot height map dot configure with a new height map decorator config with height map type, and this time once again the motion blocking. And then at the very end here, so only taking two here at the end, right, two parentheses, we're then gonna do dot spread horizontally dot repeat 4, and then ending this with two of those. And then right here we say bluebell keys, and then ending this, putting this, and then there you go. Code is of course always available in the description below, GitHub repository or individual gists. And then the formatting here, the formatting you could probably make it a little bit nicer in some ways or in others, but what can you do? It is a very long thing. And what I can always just advise you to do is basically press the shift key twice and then go into the configured features right here. And here you can basically see, well, almost everything that there is to see. So for example, we could say something like flower. And if I go actually from the top, that's better here, the configured features for warm flowers, I can take a look at those, and you can see that it takes in the spread 32, it has the square map, and then it does repeat 4, pretty much exactly what we've done in here. So I can very much definitely just advise you to take a look at those to get some vanilla examples. However, this is pretty much what we need to do to add the configuration here. And now inside of the gen package, we're going to create a new Java class called the ModFlowerGeneration. Now this is not strictly necessary to create this. However, I personally like to have everything separated very neatly. And we're going to make a public static void called generate flowers. There you go. And then we're going to do once again biome modifications dot add feature, biome selectors dot found in overworld, generation step vegetal decoration once again, because this of course once again is vegetal decoration, and then mod configured features that bluebells key. Once again we need to pass in the key here. And now in our mod world gen class right here, we actually want to call this as well. So it doesn't matter in what order we call this, because both of them are at the same generation step. If we had a different generation step here, so if I go into this, this actually has to follow the correct order. So that is something that we need to keep in mind. For example, when we are soon about to add something like ore generation, that would need to be called, we can see actually before the vegetal decoration is called. So that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, this is now called in here. the thing is already registered. So this is already registered, this is already registered. So that's pretty much the cool thing about the sort of entire thing here. Yeah, this is basically now being done. So this is called right here. So everything should work totally fine. So overall, this is actually pretty much all that we need to do for the flower generation. So let's see if it works. Right, and once again, don't forget to create a new world for this, of course, because we have messed with the world generation. So now let's see. Alright, we found this in Minecraft, and there you go. As you can see, the bluebells are already in the game, already have spawned in here. And as you can see, they're, sort of growing in these patches. And I could probably, find even more patches along the way. There they are as well in another biome. This is, of course, well, basically done in the biome selection, right? You can always, of course, change which biomes it spawns in, but I gotta be honest, that's actually pretty cool. And that's actually pretty much how easy it is if you have some things that are working already with the world generation. Now adding new stuff is actually not too crazy, if, I'm being honest. Right, I will say this once again. If you want to mess around with this, I highly recommend just playing around with the numbers, taking a look at what you might come up with in terms of different configurations here. Otherwise, this would pretty much be it for this tutorial right here. I hope you found this useful and you learned something new. If you did, I would very much appreciate a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials just like this one. So, yeah.